All right. Welcome back to another edition of the ATL 3 Style Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Leo G, man, and I'm here today with both of my co-hosts. Pass it off to my man out there on the east side, man. What's going on, Derek O?
What's going on, Leo G? What's going on, Big Banks?
Is Banks with us?
Right here.
Okay, what's going on, Banks? You good? What's up? What's happening?
What's going on, Leo J? I missed my cue, I guess. Derek O, how you feeling, brother?
Them Twitter fingers tender today.
All right, man, what's going on? Let's record another episode of this show, man. Get down, man. We got a lot to talk about today, man. Obviously, man, this is going to be all about the Atlanta Falcons, as we get set 9 days away from the season opener against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Mercedes-Benz. So we're going to talk all Falcons. 53-man roster just was put in place. Got a lot of big news to talk about and discuss. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode. Before we get too far off into the show, I don't think, everybody that's watching, they see what we got on. It's all ATL Falcons. Started to pull out some dogs, good fellas, because we right here. Week 1 is upon us. Week 0 is behind us. Week 1 is upon us with college football. But obviously, we'll have to circle back around to that. Derek Cole, before we get into the show, man, let everybody know about our man out there at Eastlands.
What's up, boy, out there over here on my side of the world, over here in Loganville, Georgia? Our man Philip Johnson, Eastland Woodworking. We already showed you what he can do, so we make sure that y'all highlight him and he'll put some woodworking together. Hopefully it won't be as exclusive as ours because, we got an inside track. But what he will do is hook you up. Baby Banks is showing you right now what he got over there with that Atlanta Falcon Banks coaster.
That's what's up. We keeping them busy out there at Eastlands, man. We put the link to his page in the description, man. So those of you that follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and also on our audio podcast, because fellas, we all on audio on most streaming platforms. So man, hit him up. He got his Etsy page, man. He do custom work. Matter of fact, I got a whole bunch of custom work, man. He about to roll out for me, man. So I can't wait to feature that on another episode. Also, man, still got to shout out our man over there at BEZ Bocce, man. We got to get some more product, and then we'll put that out as well, man, for people that are looking for it and trying to get it. Also, man, got to definitely shout out, man, the Falconers players, man. It's going down. Corner Northside Drive and Nelson, right across the street from Atlanta, Kentucky. We're going to be there coming up on Sunday for the home opener against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll be there, man, if y'all want to come out and holler at the ATL 3 Style Podcast. All right, fellas, let's do it, man. First take of business. 0-3 in the preseason. I know Banks got a lot to say about that, man, because preseason matters, right? Or does it? 0-3 in the preseason. What's up, Banks?
No, preseason don't matter, man. I just had a hang up on the coach's philosophy, but at the same time, man, get as many people, safely, healthy going into the season. For the most part, for the preseason, man, I didn't really get a grasp on what to feel for the team. Only I know is that our third string and guys who got released today are not as good as the ones that got cut and released from other teams. So take it for what it is.
I mean, like you said, we were building out a roster, trying to get some people some looks, and obviously we'll talk about that in a minute. That depth actually does matter. Whether we got to see the people we want to see or not, the powers that be are trying to get this roster filled out. Derek Cole, man, pass it over to you. Your thoughts on preseason 0-3 as they wrapped up the preseason, and now we're finally heading into week 1 in about 9 days.
At this point, I have nothing to say about preseason because preseason is no longer on the radar. We gearing up for September 7th, and to me, that's all I want to focus on is moving forward for the regular season because what is gone is gone. And what's coming, I'm excited for a new season of Atlanta Falcons football, them dirty birds in the ATL.
All right, man. Preseason is over. Y'all heard there, Coach. It's over now, moving forward into the regular season, man. So let's get into it as we got the roster chopped down today. Still a couple of teams are letting people go, moving some spots around. If you don't really know a lot about football, this was the day that you needed to get your roster down to 53. Once you get down to that 53-man roster, then you can start to let the waiver wire go past. Anybody that does not get picked up on waivers, the Falcons can automatically go out there and claim some of the people that they put out on waivers back to the practice squad. And we'll talk about some notable names that were actually let go and waived today and see if they end up joining us back on the practice squad. But one notable news, thing to talk about that just came down maybe about an hour or so ago. We knew that we had lost Caleb McGarity, our starting right tackle. We lost him to an injury. He was carted off right before the Cowboys preseason game in one of the practices. I can't remember what day. They knew he was going to miss some significant time, but now we found out that he was being placed on the IR with no return date set. So apparently this is going to be a season-ending injury to an offensive line that was very cohesive, and we felt very, very good about moving forward. Obviously, as Banks has said, it's going to be very, very important on that right side that protects Penix's blind side. So now we got Elijah Wilkinson that's stepping in to replace him, and they actually signed someone from the Seattle Seahawks today for some more depth. Terry's probably in the kitchen cooking again. I'm going to pass it over to you here, Derrico, man. This is a significant loss to the offensive line. We wanted to go in kind of unscathed, but this one kind of hurts. Like I said, with the cohesiveness they had, we know they like to run that ball on the right side. We always talk about that next man up mentality. McGarity just got that extension. This one kind of hurts, man.
Yeah, now this is probably the position group that least needed someone to get hurt. And of course, then it actually happened. Unfortunately, with McGarity going down with seems like what it's going to be probably when it comes out a significant knee injury. I've already seen reports that he may be opting for surgery, which could end his season, which will also put the Atlanta Falcons in a pickle, and they will have to probably make another subsequent move even after today when they hire somebody for depth. But if that is to happen where McGarity is going to be out for the year, they're going to have to go out and make a trade for a bona fide starter or someone that can carry the load for the remaining of the year. So with that being said, let's just hope that's not the case, but we'll see. If not, this is the last position group that we needed to lose somebody because of injury.
Obviously, yes, Derrico. We didn't with the depth of the offensive line was shaky. Banks, we'll get your thoughts in just a minute. Wanted to add something too. One of the most promising depth pieces of the offensive line, Storm Norton, who played very, very well last season. He's also out with an ankle injury. He had surgery, but he is slated to come back sometime during the regular season, sometime after week 8. But we know how these injuries go. I mean, they put a date there, obviously, for IR reasons, roster reasons. They kind of slide dates in and move them around, but they're moving pieces to the puzzle when it comes to the depth and the roster spots on this team. So, Banks, I'm going to hand it over to you. This is, like I said to Derrico, quite unfortunate, but, we must play on. So how do you feel about the depth now moving forward, and how confident do you feel that we can we'll still be able to compete and still be able to do our thing offensively with McGarity now out?
Like you said, man, this is a big devastating injury. I don't think that particular position is you can recover from. I mean, especially for the past 3 years, the offensive line had a cohesiveness of being a top offensive line in the league. I mean, it may not have been like top 3, but it was definitely in the top half of the league, to say the least. The running game is going to take a hit, y'all. Bijan always grunt to that right side, and he makes stuff happen. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean, it's going to take a hit. I'm not too concerned about Penix's blind side. Like someone said, at least Penix can step up in the pocket. He can move around. He's not a statue back there. So you're going to see a lot of moving from Penix as well. So, yeah, my concern is the running game. And I think that was our bread and butter of the Falcons, is to run the ball. I think that was the first thing to do, was to run the ball. And we might be able to be kind of handicapped in that position. I don't know about that one. It's a real big hit for this team.
That's where you're gonna have to have some good coaching and have your GM figure this out, like Derek alluded to, man. Hey, you might have to dig deep. I mean, I know draft picks are kind of a slim commodity right now, but listen, if you need depth this year, you're gonna have to do what you have to do in order to find somebody that can actually step in and possibly be a good replacement. I mean, serviceable Elijah Wilkinson, possibly. I don't know. We'll have to see more of him this season, because obviously he's next man up. They wrapped him in bubble wrap that last preseason game, and he's going to be the guy that steps in and starts week 1 against the Buccaneers. Very interesting though, like you were saying, Banks, man, really not a big flux in the run game, man. When you look at percentage wise, yes, obviously they like to run the ball to the right side a lot more to the left, but it's almost quite balanced. But it is a slight, percentage. I want to say like 56% more. They like to run the ball to the right side. They had a lot more confidence over there in Lindstrom and McGarity, and I guess McGarity was the better of the run blocking tackle. So we'll see how that all plays out. So fellas, listen, let's get into the meat of the rest of the roster. Some unknowns and some knowns that we knew were going to make this roster, and some people that we think that are going to get brought back in. But that was the most significant news of today, was that we lost Caleb McGarity, our right tackle, possibly for the year. I want to get into a couple of people that we haven't heard about that were put on possibly the PUP or the injured reserve list, and I just don't know exactly where they're going to fit in or if they're even coming back to this roster. Derek, I'm going to start over to you here first. Troy Anderson, before the camp was started, put on the physically unable to perform list. He's been on the milk carton ever since. Don't know what's going on. Still on the on the PUP list. He's still on the roster, obviously, because he's on the PUP, not quote unquote on the 53 man, but obviously there are, I guess, maybe the thinking that they could bring him back sometime. But he missed all the camp. This dude was a second round pick, and like I said, he's been on the milk carton, man. What's the deal with Troy Anderson, brother?
The key part of that statement that you said, why he's probably still on this roster, is he's a second round pick, a second round mess up, a second round shouldn't have been picked, a second round trying to make it seem like y'all went wrong. Cut your losses. Dude is not going to be what y'all thought he was going to be. At this point, Diablo, I think I just said his name right. Diablo came in and showed them what they need at that linebacker spot. You need somebody with some dog in them, some girth, not just speed and slim. So at this point, yeah, he's on a PUP list. I don't think he's going to last if he come back. To me, personally, it's just time to cut your losses and move on. And if you want me to talk about another one too, I can talk about another one too that I was surprised that made the roster. Mr. Concussion, Mr. Guardian Cap, Mr. Number 40. I was surprised that you made the squad.
We'll bring it back around to you, Derek, if you want to talk about somebody else that you were surprised that made the squad. We'll do our surprise picks on who we thought made the squad and where they end up in the depth chart. Banks, bring it over to you here to talk about you love the Banks. Let's be real, man. Let's be fully transparent, man. You love to jab at the Falcons when they get them wrong. And apparently, I mean, the consistency is that pick was wrong with Troy Anderson now on the PUP list, a wasted second round pick, in your opinion. Where does he fall into the scheme of things when it comes to this roster? And will we see him anytime this year, or is this bye-bye for Troy Anderson?
Listen here, y'all. I don't know if y'all remember that show when we first talked about when we picked up Troy Anderson and how disgusted I was by bringing this man in over certain players that we could have gotten instead. So we had to go and take our happy-go-lucky franchise to freaking Montana and find some Swiss Army knife, which more of a dull knife, if you ask me, I don't know if anybody out there remember the DVD player. A lot of folks, I might be aging myself. Well, it's not that old. I mean, it's a DVD player, and you take that remote control, and that's that forward chapter button, and you hit that forward chapter button, you go to the next page. That's what we're doing. I'm so over this, man. Listen here, folks been try to give him a benefit of the doubt, like give him a shot, give him a shot. You know what? That shot is done. It's a guy on a roster. I believe his name is Josh Woods. I don't even. He outperformed him in one preseason game, and I was like, you know what? I knew then. I said, yeah, that might be it for Troy Anderson. I'm not even talking about the other guys like Derico said about Diablo. We know about him, but you talking about a guy in Josh Woods who's trying to make the roster, and he did much more than I've seen out of Troy Anderson. I mean, much more. And I'm talking about something that's like just going towards the line of scrimmage on a particular play. That I saw that. So yeah, kudos to Mr. Woods and Troy Anderson, bro. Don't let the doorknob hit you in the butt, bro.
I mean, it's a shame, man, because obviously, man, we did see a couple of flashes, and that was it. Just a couple of flashes with him, and you thought you wanted to see more, and apparently, we're not going to get more. I don't know what the plan is, because I don't know what they could get out of him or whatever the case may be. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, I guess the consensus among the three of us is that we've seen Troy Anderson's last days here as an Atlanta Falcon until they get that all figured out. Just very weird situation with him on the PUP list, not getting a lot out of Flowery Branch about that whole situation and the circumstances surrounding him, man. So I hope it's nothing medically or physically wrong with the man. I hope everything is well with him, but obviously, man, just on the field stuff just wasn't working out and they had to move on. So listen, as Derek alluded to, man, a couple of...
Was that Corporate Leo just speaking today? Corporate Leo?
I'm not for sure exactly what you're talking about, sir, but we're gonna move along here because Banks
had to been Corporate Leo, because that was some what I'm hearing is blah 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 about Troy Anderson. Troy Anderson, get the hell on.
Peace.
All right, well, y'all heard it, man. Deuces to Troy Anderson, man. He's out of there. How about that? He's out of there. Troy Anderson. For now, he's out of there still technically with these guys, but we'll move on. Let's move on here, guys. So listen, a couple of notable names that are released, and obviously there are some surprises, as Derico alluded to, that were kept on this roster. Just a couple of names that I'm gonna get into here that were actually released. And some of these guys will be brought back to the practice squad. Obviously, we do know that. So Kobe Bryant, who was brought in as an undrafted free agent cornerback that I was rooting for, I was hoping that was going to get picked up. He was actually let go of today. Hopefully, he'll pass the waiver wire and we'll be able to pick him back up and see what he's able to do. Wide receiver Chris Blair, he was also let go as well. One of my shockers, and I'll talk about this here in just a second, Kentavious Street. He was a depth guy on that defensive line rotation. He was let go, man. So don't know if somebody else will pick him up or he'll be brought back around. Also, another shocker, in my opinion, even though he could get picked back up on waivers, but I know it's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks right now, guys. Easton Stick, who played most of the snaps in preseason, was also let go of today. So a lot of people that were let go, like I said, Kentavious Street needs to stick. Obviously, those are some shockers to me. There's a few other guys that were also let go as well. They did let go of the kicker Banks from Germany, but maybe he'll get picked back up off waivers. I'm going to bring it over to you here, Banks. Was there anybody of significance that you thought should have made this roster? Or do you see the Falcons actually trying to bring them back once everybody clears waivers? What was some of the surprises?
Well, the surprise for me, Simeon Barrow Jr., I think that was one of the undrafted free agents that I was pulling for on that defensive line. I didn't think you can have too many defensive linemen, especially in the state we were in. When I kind of, I had an idea that maybe he probably wouldn't make it, but at the same time, I had hope for him. But at least hopefully he'll clear waivers. Maybe we'll put it back on the practice squad. Jordan Fuller was released, y'all. I thought he was going to be a part of that starting safety, but I guess guys like Helms and Wyatt outperformed him. I've noticed that on the safety positions, we're only carrying 3. So, okay. I mean, look, hey, listen, I'll roll with it. My surprise person that made the team, like I really thought he should have been like gone, is D Alford. Like, dude, why are you still here? Like, maybe it's me. I have a hatred for the man. I just knew I was not going to see his name on the roster, and there he is, still on my roster, and still going to be effing up on Sundays. So you know what? Until the day he's gone, I guess I have to keep praying. And look, I know like I sound like a bad guy for hoping someone's downfall, but listen, I'm so tired of this man going out there, being out of position and getting burned or doing something negative for my team to be in a hole. I'm over it, dude. Like, dude, let somebody else do it. You know.
All right, D Alford, man, we talking to you. We don't want you to be the scapegoat this year because obviously Banks, a lot of bones to pick with you, man. Another surprise for me before I pass it over to you, Derrick, man. Clark Phillips. I thought that dude was gonna be up out of here too, man. He was a guy, smaller guy in stature that they were playing at that nickel position. Obviously, they brought Billy Bowman in from Oklahoma during the draft, so I was like, you know what, that might be the end of Clark Phillips. I think that he was a little injured too, didn't get a lot of reps during camp, but they held on to him. And Banks, to your point, 3 safeties, and I think they did just carry a bunch of cornerbacks and nickelbacks because I don't know what kind of defense that we're going to be running out there under the defensive coordinator's name, who just escaped me right now, but maybe Derrick can back me up on that. Pass it over to you, Derrick, man. Your thoughts on the losses and the people that we actually retained on this roster.
Hey, you probably don't recall our defensive coordinator's name because he was MIA the last preseason game. I just call him Jeff, and we'll just leave it there. We'll just leave it there. Okay, my surprise. Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Banks Street. I'm surprised he got cut. I am still in that wide receiver core, but I thought Dylan Drummond did enough to stay on that squad, even though I do like Chris Blair. So hopefully they'll bring them 2 back and put them on the practice squad. And, of course, I'm not going to beat up my boy D. Alford because there ain't no use of wasting no energy on him anymore. But like I said earlier, the one that I just thought that they need to go ahead and cut ties with is Mr. Guardian Cap Concussion, number 40. What's the boy name? JD Beartran. I'm not sure why you think that this dude out there, 5'7", 5'8", playing inside linebacker for an NFL team is something that you need. He's a one-trick pony, and sometimes he can slide in and get to the quarterback, but you don't need a one-trick pony. You need somebody that's going to stop and run because at this point, we are weak at stopping and run, so you need a bigger body out there at inside linebacker. So that's my surprise still on the roster, and I'm also going to mention our kicker. Yes. Cool. You're on grace, son. You're on grace. So I'm going to tell you right now, you slip up in the Tampa game, and you're going to give up your roster spot. That's all I got to say about that.
How about we just leave him to kick extra points, man? We don't need to have him kicking 56 and 60 yarders. But yeah, Younghoe Koo is back. Come on back. That Georgia Southern boy made that roster, man. But like I said, we'll probably end up bringing Krug, I think, from Germany. They'll probably end up bringing him back, like Banks was saying, one of those designated international spots after the waivers kick in. I'm pretty sure we'll have a backup for Koo. So, all right, fellas, man, look, we're going to be pressed against the mark here, man. So we are going to talk about some strengths that we feel like are on this active 53-man roster as it is built right now. And I'll go first. One of the strengths I feel like right now, depth-wise, and I'm excited to see it, is going to be this edge position. Edge position is full of youth. And there's some unproven guys on this edge, on this edge. And there are some guys that I think are going to give us some good push and some sacks. I'm looking forward to it. Leonard Floyd, James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker is listed as an edge guy. D'Angelo Malone's coming back. Braylon Trice will see his first action in regular season play, and Arnold Ebiketie. That is my strong point of edge because this has been an emphasis. This is what Terry and Raheem has been cooking up to try to get to the quarterback. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the D-line, the interior D-lineman, to help push that pocket as well. But I'm curious. I have a good feeling about the young boys that we brought in, and also some of the crafty veterans like Leonard Floyd that they brought in to help out as well, man, because we need it. And I think that they have heard it from us enough that we need to put some quarterbacks on the damn ground. So I'm looking to see Baker Mayfield on the ground quite a bit in this first game, man. James Pierce, we talked about this in the last podcast, man. He was the guy that has been bringing that juice, that nastiness to that D-line, and I think that that's going to go into the season in that first game, man, and give this defense an identity, man. Pass it over to you here, Banks, man. What is your strong point of emphasis, player position group of this roster?
Well, this might be kind of an easy position. I don't think people like to really talk about this position because it's so strong. It's the running back position. Of course, Bijan, and you got Tyler Algier, and the guy that I thought really had a hell of a preseason was Nathan Carter. He went out there and had that big run, and he was running with some conviction. I love the guy. Now that them three guys in that running back room, you feel really strong that they gonna run that rock. You know what I'm saying? And I have no issue, knowing that Nathan Carter's on the team now, who can possibly, with a good protection, he's gonna make some things happen. Which is, I have a point, guys, and this is probably something that nobody wants to hear. We talked about earlier about bringing that dude from Seattle, I believe, last name Gerald, offensive tackle. We had to give up a 7th-round pick for him. I don't think no one's paying attention, but we don't have any more picks hardly left. I think we got like 3, 4 left. And then, Leo, you said we might spend another one for another offensive tackle. Listen, we got to recoup some draft picks somewhere. I don't think people want to hear, but Tyler Algier may not be here too much longer. I mean, I think he can start for probably half of teams in the league right as we speak. Somebody look up and say, hey, what about this guy here, Tyler Algier? What you talking? What kind of draft picks you talking? We may have to do that, guys. It's something that we don't want to talk about because we fall in love with these players. We got to recoup some of these draft picks. We already know about Kirk Cousins. I don't know what circumstance we got to be in for Kirk Cousins to, leave, go somewhere and be a starter somewhere and try to get a draft pick for him as well. So listen, all I'm just saying is the more we try to recoup players, because of injury, and we keep spending draft picks, we're gonna look up come next year in the next draft, and we only have but 1 pick. So we gotta recoup them somehow, some way, So don't be surprised when your favorite player is on the move.
Hey man, look, before I pass it over to Derico, man, that's if knock on wood, man, this team is very successful and we get another run with Terry, man. Hopefully he learned a lot from that swamp rat down there in that stinky city to figure out how to wheel and deal and maneuver some cap space and some stuff around and swindle and con some people in to get, like as Derico like to say, fleece somebody into giving us some draft picks for nothing. So we'll see if Terry is able to do that, because we want to see Terry back. If Terry's back, obviously this team was very, very successful as put together, constructed by him and Raheem. So we want to see him back. Derico, before we close this thing out, man, your position group that you feel like is going to be a point of emphasis that you feel like is very, very strong.
First, I just want to address something Banks just said so I can kind of calm down our Falcons fans. The only pick that we really don't have are 2 picks from 2026. That's a 1st-round pick and that 7th-round pick that you just talked about. So if we give up another 6th round or a 5th rounder, so what? As long as we keep our 2nd and 3rd, I'm good with that. But like you said, if we get something from Kurt or another player like Tyler Algier, I think we'll be okay. Now, for the position of strength, I'm going to go with my favorite group of football players of all time because I played the position. I'm going to say unconventionally, the wide receiver core is surprisingly deep. People may not see a lot of big names, but that's a good group of guys that's going to shine and show some talent, and y'all going to be surprised how well they perform in this season.
Hey, man, I agree with you there, man. I mean, it's led up by that big dog, man, Drake London. Hopefully my man Mooney will be back for week 1. I think that he will. Ray McLeod. You got a lot of Kadira Hodges coming back. You got a lot of high-profile names, man, that can catch that rock, man, and prove themselves last year. Like you said, kind of under the radar group of guys, man, but I think they'll do well, man. But listen, fellas, we are at the mark. Obviously, we're going to come back to this before we go into week 1. We'll do some predictions. We'll talk some fantasy. We'll talk everything else we need to talk going into week 1 on next week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And should be fun. I'm looking forward to I always look forward to the first game, fellas, man. So it should be fun, and it should be fun to talk about on next week what we expect and what the expectations are going into that game, man. And hopefully we'll be good with the dub. Banks, let everybody know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, you can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook, or you can find me at Baby Banks 80 on Instagram, or of course, Section 122 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, or you can find me somewhere on the west side or the south side of Atlanta doing my thing.
Derek Cole, let them know where they can find you, man.
And you can find me on Facebook at Stacy D. Derrico. You can find me on Snapchat at DJ Capo6. You can find me on IG at Derrico_Virgo. You can find me at TikTok at Black_Virgo. And you can find me right here in the Loganville Derrico Man Cave. Shout out to all my Virgos out there.
Oh, man, here we go. We got to hit this Banks for another couple of days. All right, man. Look, you can follow us on all our social media platforms. Obviously, it's ATL3 Style. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on anywhere you get your audio podcast, man. We are out, and we're going to be streaming. And we're going to continue to do this, man, because this is what we like to do. ATL3 Style Podcasting is what we like to do, man. Got a lot of big things coming up, man. A lot of surprises. We keep telling y'all we got surprises coming left and right, so we're going to be on the lookout for that. Like I said, man, first game of the season coming up. Shout out to our boy Reggie for joining us last week. Also, shout out to Atlanta United because they like to draw over there in Mercedes-Benz, man. We just going to put a canvas up, man, because they like to draw so much over there. Shout out to them Georgia Bulldogs. It's going to take on Marshall this week, man. Every day, everybody have a happy and safe Labor Day weekend, man. We'll catch y'all on the other side going into week 1 NFL. And we going to be out, fellas.